From Brazil, Josue Ferreira. From Germany, Michael Müller. From Slovakia, Karl Semko. From Colombia, Diego Mancia. From Saudi Arabia, Khalil Alham Khan. From Croatia, Amar Music. From France, Brandon Votard. From Albania, Klenar Shorai. From India, Venkat Rahul Ragala. And from Thailand, Banyat Taonok. These are the athletes in the men's 85-kilo Group B session.
Karol Samko coming out for his opening attempt. Quite a big split in his snatch and clean and jerk if it plays out the way it's listed, 50 kilos.
Wow.
Yeah, Karol, his best snatch in the past is 150 international competition. That was at the European Championships earlier this year.
Not too bad.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. And, you know, he took decent jumps in split. He went 142, 147, 150. So maybe he's thinking of something around that mark.
Yeah. He just made a slight adjustment there on the bottom. And you can see just a little wiggle of the elbows and shoulders, but nothing, nothing that broke. Or and when I say break, I mean where the elbows actually bend. None of that actually happening, which is good. So Robert Jean Vantard of France coming out for his opening attempt at 141. Oh, very nice lift.
Excellent lift there, to be honest. That's really good.
And his best snatch is 145 that was done last year in Israel. So I think we're going to see some best lifting out of him. So the next lifter becomes, I think it's going to be Karol Samko once. Yeah, it's still not official yet, but there we are. Yeah, so only a 3-kilo jump from that open 140. And I love that mic is on the chalk box so you can hear him getting the chalk on the thumbs and dropping it after they're finished.
Yeah, very small increase. This is actually a little unusual to see an increase this small.
And we just got word that the German competitor has decided not to compete today.
Oh no. Do we know what happened? That looks good.
Yeah, it's a great lift. So we haven't got an update if that's an injury by Muller, the German 85-kilogram lifter. He's out of the snatch. We'll see if he decides to clean and jerk. That's unclear at the moment.
Nice lift by Samko there. This brings up a new athlete. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's Al Hamkan. We see the Saudi team walking out. I think that will be the athlete, and the loaders running off the stage. Loaders have been doing an excellent job of the entire competition thus far.
Getting quite a workout in as they do it.
Nobody lifts more weight than the loaders.
So Saudi Arabia's Al Hamkan coming out for his opening attempt. 144 on the bar.
This is only a kilo off his international best, it looks like. 145, which he did back in 2014.
Yeah, moves pretty well.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good lift.
So gets on the board with that. It's going to bring up a new lifter, Ferreira of Brazil. Unless there is a change. Nope, here he comes. Ferreira of Brazil.
Best lift in the snatch phase looks like it's 146. That was done just a few months ago in Taipei. And actually only completed one snatch in that competition. So
yeah, last couple international competitions look to have been a little rough. 1 for 3 in the snatch, 0 for 3, 1 for 3.
Wow, very fast, but just a little out of position.
Yeah.
There.
I think you maybe tried to sneak under a little too fast. Didn't quite finish all the way up, but he'll have another shot at it, and he'll have a little chance to rest, is my guess.
Yeah, I think so.
Croatia's Amar Music is going to be the lifter, and here he is getting his singlet on, getting ready.
It's typically a two-person ordeal getting the singlet on.
Getting some chalk in the hands out here.
Yeah, this way he can sprint right to the weight.
Exactly. Looks kind of like Liam Neeson.
He does have a Liam Neeson look to him.
Maybe it is Liam Neeson.
Yeah. Don't mess with him.
No. I've seen Taken enough times to know that. Right now, coming out for his opening attempt, Music. He has been good in the past. A very extensive competition history. Best international snatch looks to have been 153 kilos. Saw him in Houston where he did 146.
That looks to be a good lift.
Yeah, no, nice lifting there. Gets on the board with that attempt.
Kind of double check the weight, seeing if the same weight was on both sides or
he
something.
did look. I wonder if it felt a little off. I believe it is the athlete's responsibility to check that.
Yeah.
So, but no problem there. I'd say he looks good for a little bit more. He can sit back and relax. There are going to be a lot of athletes, I think, in this 145 to 148 range.
Yeah, you just saw that last little double check. Is everything normal over there?
Yeah.
Looks good.
Kanar Sarai of Albania coming out for his opening attempt. He's an athlete who has done 156 earlier this year in the European Championships in Croatia.
Good lift.
Yeah, that looked great.
And you know, it's such a great example of. Looks like he's got a little bit of
maybe a little cramp or something.
Yeah, it could be. That's been a popular thing today.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is it's so interesting to see how many different builds that you can get out of a weightlifter, successful weightlifter. When you look at his shoulders, you think he can't he can't press maybe 50 kilos, you know.
And there he is snatching, 145 with relative ease.
Right, and then you look at a guy like Muhammad Ihab, who we saw won the 77s, who's
4 feet wide.
Yeah, he's got cannonballs
exactly.
for shoulders.
A lot of different ways to put together a successful athlete in the sport.
Same weight, 145. Frenchman really shows how it's done there. Beautiful lifting.
So he's 2 for 2 right now. Gotthard, 141, then that 145. Here it is.
Yeah, very nice lift, very balanced.
This equals his best international, it looks like, which he did back in 2016.
So that brings out the Brazilian Ferreira coming out for his second attempt at the same weight, 145 kilos. So we saw some really major speed under the bar, but like you mentioned, I just don't think he got that last stand-up or that final pull at the end of it. Much better.
Wow, that was nice.
Yeah. Really?
Beautiful movement around the bar.
Yeah.
That's good. Gets on the board with that. Hopefully he can add a little bit more. Again, in the past few competitions, it's been more like a 1 for 3 performance, but made that nice correction.
Yeah,
excellent.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Beautiful bottom position.
In the replay, it looks fast.
Yeah, I know. And that was a little slow-mo, believe it or not.
So right now, the athlete is listed as Karol Samko of Slovakia. Samko has done 150 in international competition. He's doing 146 here. He's taken another 3 kilo increase. Went 140, 143, now 146.
Now, quite often you'll see the coaches either hitting the traps or the back. I mean, it just emphasizes how important it is to have really developed posterior chain strength and making sure that those areas are really ready for a big lift. Oh, another success.
Yeah, that looked great.
3 for 3 on the day for Samko. What a great performance.
Yeah, he looked good for more, but maybe they went a little conservative, knowing they wanted every kilo to count, be a little conservative, because he's listed with a pretty solid clean and jerk, 190 as his opener.
Wow, yeah.
But look at this.
And like you mentioned, he's a guy who's done 150 before, so maybe they just feel this is the right weight.
Yeah.
And again, that C session has had the Canadian do 153, so we've got a ways until we're up
We
there.
still have not passed that.
Yeah. So Samko is, because of that lift, is only in second place in the snatch.
Right now, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's Alham Khan coming out for his second attempt, 148.
And this would be an international best for him by 3 kilos. 145 was the best he did back in 2014. He's got 3 seconds on the clock. He's got to lift the weight. Oh, very close.
Yeah. That was a bit of a rush at the end.
Yeah, reminiscent of Kakashvili.
Yeah, running the clock down. He'll have another attempt, another chance to make that. In the meantime, it brings up a new lifter, Croatia's Amar Music. Here he is. Close attempt, but I think he just had to rush himself a little bit. He realized, I gotta go. Amar Music, Croatia, 148, 3 kilo increase over his opener. snatch at the Euros earlier this year.
Oh, no. So that could be the same trend here.
Yeah, but he opened pretty aggressive there. Opened with 150.
Wow.
So he's not quite at that mark right now. I'd like to see him come back and get that 148.
We've just gotten word that the Turkmenistan lifter Asharov is withdrawing from the competition.
Wow.
And the German has only withdrawn from the snatch still, so there may be some intentions of still clean and jerking.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Right now we have the Frenchman Vatar coming out for his final attempt at 148. Now it just looked a little slower than those other attempts. So 2 for 3 on the day. 145 is what he's credited with on his second attempt. So all of the lifters who haven't come out for an opening attempt are asking for the same weight, 150 kilos. We have a couple others that we'll probably see before we see those first attempts. One of which here, as you can see, is Muzic of Croatia coming out for 148 once again. And like you mentioned, Dr. Baffi, he's a guy who typically does a 1 out of 3 kind of situation. Yeah. So hopefully he can improve on that.
Well, more recently 1 out of 3, but if you go back a few competitions, he's actually pretty consistently 3 out of 3, 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Hopefully he made the correction, knows what he needs to do.
Oh, better, but
yeah.
that right elbow is probably...
Oh, was it? From my angle, it actually looked okay. The judges...
Yeah.
Oh, the judges agreed with you.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
And actually, he was kind of wiggling that elbow a little at the end. And just watch, right there it is.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, so it was... it wasn't just a wiggle. It was a little bit of a shoulder workout there.
Very impressive, though.
Yeah, absolutely. He held on. And of course, Croatia, just such a wonderful country.
Really beautiful.
Ever get a chance to visit, many, many great sights to see, food to eat, places to visit.
Right now, Saudi Arabia's Al Hakan coming out for his 3rd and final attempt. He made 44 in his opener, was a bit rushed on his second and missed 48. Elected to move up 1 kilo. And yeah, the Turkmeni lifter Ashirov has withdrawn. Interesting. No.
Too much weight. So he's credited with the 144 on his opener, and that's only a kilo under his best, which is 145. So not the day he was hoping for, I think. So 150 is the weight that's going to be moved up on the bar. We've got 3 lifters we have yet to see all asking for that same weight. The first of which is going to be Bentancur here from Colombia. And you can see, even as he's walking up here, he is tall, he's lanky. He's probably going to have a complete grip all the way out here, I would guess. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, he's collar to collar. Yeah, just this is what he's anticipated. Wow, moves quickly, but yeah, he's gonna get a few minutes, fortunately, because he's got a couple other lifters asking for that same amount.
Wasn't there, unfortunately. Looked at the hand. I wonder if a grip thing or.
Well, I think we all sort of look at the hand.
It's a pretty common move.
Well, not the hand.
Wasn't me. It was the hand. So right now, India's Venkat Ragala coming out. Opening attempt, same weight, 150 kilos.
You know, I always find it interesting, too, when lifters wear jewelry around their neck. I just think, oh, boy, that would just pop up and hit me right in the face.
Yeah, exactly. That's astonishing. His best international is 143, it looks like.
Wow, very ambitious here, 150. Wow.
And that looks good.
Yeah, and you know what? Not quite the dive style technique, but just almost.
Grabs it and goes.
Yeah,
that's it. Doesn't waste any time.
Yeah.
So here, that snatch.
Very nice move.
Yeah. Confident opening attempt.
This
Brings up another athlete at 150. Thailand's Banyat Tawanok.
Yeah. The dive technique was sort of made famous by one of the greatest, Yuri Vardanyan.
Yeah.
Who is still unbelievable that he did that.
Yeah. And then Yoto of Bulgaria.
Yeah.
Another dive bomber. I believe Riegert as well might have done some diving starts.
Not his whole career, but at least some of it, yeah. Right now, Tawanok of Thailand.
He's done this weight in international competition before. Did it earlier this year.
When he caught the bar at the receiving position, it just kept dropping. And I don't know if it's just didn't pull it high enough, catch it high enough, but it didn't look great.
Yeah.
Not look great. So that's 2 misses for 2 separate lifters on their openers. Fortunately, other lifters are asking for the weight, so they'll have a few minutes to regroup and figure out what went wrong.
Right now, Albania's Krenar Shorai coming out for his second attempt at this weight, 150. Lifted in Croatia earlier this year in the European Championships, where he did 156. Had a great day in the snatch. Yeah, 3 for 3.
That's a big lift. Little bit on that right elbow.
Yeah, not bad though.
I think it was too bad, but there's not a lot of clapping. But hey, that's still a good lift.
2 to 1. And the jury.
Some whispering going on over there, but I think they're okay. Uh-oh. I see the center judge getting up. Oh, no. Okay. They're going to stop.
The jury's stopping, and that's almost certainly going to get turned down.
Boy, it was, you know, from that view especially, it was really slight. They're tough. They can be tough. This has been a really tough competition in terms of the refereeing. Yeah, it looked almost like there was a little shoulder, which made it look more exaggerated by the elbow.
Let's see what's happening.
And they're looking for the official rule. Now, I believe it has to be a unanimous decision amongst the jury.
I believe so, yeah.
So everybody has to be convinced one way or the other. So that sometimes takes more deliberation time than we'd like. And again, technically, they're not using a replay, but I'm sure that they're looking up at the big screen.
Hard not to.
So no lift. They took it away. That's too bad.
This brings out Colombia's Betancourt. Now, I don't know if you can always trust some of these results, but it looks like Betancourt's best snatch previously international competition was 145. So opening quite a bit heavier than that.
Well, judging by how that first one looked, it's not surprising.
Looks a little heavy.
Yeah, it does. He really just looks like a guy who hasn't filled into his body yet.
Yeah.
You know, could be a 94, maybe even a 105.
Very tall,
if you really starts eating more rice and beans.
Collar to collar.
Much better.
Yeah, that's great. And again, you know, per our sources, it looks like he hasn't been on the international stage in a few years.
Yeah.
2014. But gets on the board with that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And he didn't look down at the hand. So the hand must be back in good shape.
Here's that lift again. And that was great.
Yeah.
It's kind of how you want an opening lift to look, so can't be too disappointed with that. Right now, Banya Taonok of Thailand missed his opening attempt at this same weight at 150, coming back for another shot at it. Oh, but they're cleaning the bar.
Must be a little blood.
Could be a little while. Changes going on in the back.
And I guess we should give a little shout out to these loaders. They've been working extremely hard for the last, what has it been, 5 days, 6 days that the competition's been?
I think it started Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah. I don't even know what day it is.
You know, you lose all sense of time.
It's either there's weightlifting happening at the moment or there's not. Then I should probably get something to eat or to go to sleep.
Exactly. It's a form of brainwashing here. Watch lifting, eat. I haven't seen the sun in hours, days. Right now, Banya Taonok, second attempt, 150.
This will tie his best. Oh boy, a little better, but still not enough.
Yeah, it looks heavy.
I would not go up.
And a little soft in the receiving position, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. He would have to jump all the way to 152 if he wanted to buy any time, and I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, now he's got a 2-minute clock, unless Ferreira of Brazil drops to 150.
That's an unlikely
and then switches back just to screw him out of that
which
clock.
Technically you can do that.
You can, yeah.
You can do that, but it does eliminate 2 of your changes.
Yep.
But if he's sure that he's going to do 152, then hey, why not? Every degree of placement that you can improve upon, you got to do it. And the Snuggie is in action there for the Thai lifter.
Exactly, keeping himself warm.
And you can see him really focusing on conserving all of his energy, all his heat in place, so he can utilize that energy to snatch this weight.
If you're following along and are looking for more weightlifting content, check out the IWF's social media pages at IWF on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Lots of behind-the-scenes videos of training footage, highlights from the competitions. It's a great place to get more for your weightlifting fix. Right now, Banya Taonok of Thailand coming out, third and final attempt, needs this to stay in the competition.
So the crowd's really behind him on this. They want him to make this do or die situation. 150. Again, this ties his international best here. Maybe a little too aggressive on that opener, but he's still got a chance to make this. It's just too heavy.
Yeah.
Really is just too heavy. So that's going to move the lifter to Ferreira of Brazil for his third and final attempt. Right now it's listed as 152. So, and he missed 145 as opener, came back and really made 145 look light on his second attempt. So I think he's capable, even though it is a big 70-kilo jump from that second attempt.
Best international snatch, 146, done earlier this year. He's done 45 previously, 43 internationally, so, and that's within the past year or so. This would be quite an improvement on those numbers.
So only 5 lifts remain in a total of 4 lifters.
And 2 have already withdrawn from the field, and 1 has bombed out in the snatch.
Oh, wow. Big extension, but just, again, looked a little too heavy.
Yeah, left that out front. And I don't think he had much chance getting under that.
No, I don't think so either. And we still have not exceeded what was done by the Canadian Bellemare in the C session.
Yeah. 3 lifters remain. 4 lifts remain. Right now, Albania's Krenar Shorai coming out. Made 145, missed 150 on his second. Now is calling for 152 on his third attempt.
And has done as much as 156 again in the Europeans really just earlier this year. So he's capable here. Oh yeah, so he had walked off after he completed his second attempt with a little bit of a hamstring or a cramp or something like that. So that must be still something that's bothering him at the moment. So that leaves only 2 competitors, the first of which is Regala from India. We're going to see come out for his second attempt, 154, and this will finally exceed the best of the C session.
So interestingly, the athlete from the C session who is currently in the lead with the snatch, 153, is a junior, and this athlete from India, also a junior, only junior in this group, in the B group. So let's see if he can get this 54 overhead, putting him ahead of the best C group snatch.
He looked good on his opener. Oh, very close. And again, goes right into the lip. No hesitation.
Yeah.
So he's got one more shot at that. 2 lifters remain, 2 attempts left. Bentancur of Colombia is asking for 155. So Regala would have to bump up to that to buy himself more time. What do you think? Should he move up or should he stay where he's at, Dr. Botha?
It's a good question. I think you stay.
You stay, yeah.
Because it wasn't a bad miss, and it could be this sort of situation where you take it once, sort of test it, you make the correction, and within 35, 45 seconds, you go back out, take it again. What do you think?
I agree with you 100%. If it was the clean and jerk, we may be talking about a little bit of a different story, especially if he clean and attempted a jerk. But in the snatch, he didn't expend a lot of energy. But so just give yourself the whole 2 minutes and go ahead, take it. But they're not taking the 2 doctors' advice. They're moving up.
They're moving up. Well, that's.
Okay, no, that was just, yeah, okay. So now it looks like Bentancur is getting ready to take this one 155.
Yeah, no, the weight is still 154. Oh, no, they're making a change.
Now they're making the change, yeah.
We are just hearing, though, that number 9, Krenar Shorai of Albania, has withdrawn from the clean and jerk. So just like that, a 3rd competitor out of the running.
Well, if you include the tie lifter bombing, that's really 4 lifters.
4, exactly. Now, he can still come and clean and jerk, but it looks like we've got 3 competitors who will not be taking the clean and jerk.
Yeah. So Regala is right now posted at 157, and Bentancur took this 5-kilo jump to 155 here. So this would be a pretty impressive lift.
Bar is ready. Here he comes. And again, this is the B group. Medals will be determined tomorrow in the A group. This would exceed the best snatch from the C group, which we still have not exceeded. 153 was the best out of the C group. Canada's Bellemare.
Oh, very close.
Yeah.
Very close.
Threw it up and over.
Wow. So Regala has 1 lift left.
Yeah.
He's listed at 157, and it's been loaded. So that's going to be the weight.
Yeah. Looked pretty strong in his second, but this This is a big snatch.
This is a very big snatch.
Yeah, quite an improvement over what he's done previously internationally. The best result I'm seeing for him in the snatch is 143.
Wow. Okay, so this is a huge improvement if he can pull it off. Oh no! So believe it or not, the junior Canadian from the C session leads the snatch after the B session. Wow!
With 153 behind is we just lost the board for a second.
Behind Regala, who is also a junior.
Yeah, behind is Regala, who is 150 on his opening attempt, the only snatch he made, and then also with 150 overall, I should say, because Alex Bellamar in the C group leads with 153. India's Regala 150, and then Betancourt from Colombia also 150.
And we should point out to our viewers that second phase of the competition here at the 2017 IWF Weightlifting World Championships. We're commentating for the 85-kilogram men's B session. Right now we have Ferreira da Silva of Brazil, opening attempt 170 kilos. Nice clean.
Ferreira only made one snatch, 145.
Oh, really nice jerk.
Yeah, he looks a little better in the jerk. Looks like he's capable of quite a bit more, but gets on the board comfortably with that lift.
So as of now, we had 3 competitors who dropped out completely of the competition. There's one who bombed out of the snatch, the Thai lifter Tao Nok, but it looks like he is coming out right now for his opening attempt. So he is going to clean and jerk, starting with the same weight, 170 kilos. And it looks like that's his best in international competition. So starting a little ambitious.
Clean looks good.
Yeah. Pretty easy lift overall, I'd say.
You know, it started with 150, which was his international best in the snatch as well, and that did not go as planned, unfortunately. Did not complete one successfully, but in the clean and jerk, much better opening attempt.
Yeah. And the best clean and jerk out of the C session was done by another Thai lifter, Tarapan, who did 176. So that mark will be reached much sooner than the snatch mark from the C session was.
Right now, clock ticking down for Ferreira of Brazil. Looks like they're making a change. He opened with 170. The clock is ticking at 175, but we just saw a change being made, and yep, he's moving up to 180, it looks like.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sort of old-fashioned lifting there.
10-kilo increase, yeah. So that means the lifter becomes King of Saudi Arabia's Al Hamkan, and I wonder if he's caught off guard because both lifters who opened at 170 took 10-kilo jumps. So he might have been counting on more time. He might have been counting on, he and his coaches, Al Hamkan and his coaches might have been counting on 2 more attempts.
Yeah.
But here he is. They changed the weight to 178.
Lifter
to get a little time.
Yeah, the lifter out of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia coming out for his opening attempt, 178 on the bar.
Looks like his international best at the Worlds in Kazakhstan a few years ago, 2014, was 179 kilos. He's got just under 30 seconds.
Yeah, he has had a little bit of a.
He's not in a rush.
No, and he wasn't in a rush in the snatches, and almost didn't start the snatch before the time expired. And again, he's got 10 seconds. He doesn't even have his hands on the bar. He's looking at the clock, so he knows. But no. Yeah, Yeah, that sort of dive bomb technique is just not working out well for him.
Yeah.
So 178, he would have to jump to 180 to have any. Oh, I take that back. Actually, Tao Nok looks like he dropped it from 180 to 179 on his second attempt as it stands now. Of course, that could change.
Right now, they're sitting with it. I mean, he didn't expend a whole lot of effort.
Yeah, I would think to just repeat with that same weight.
Looks like that's what they're doing. So there's the Croatian coach.
I love how unique the Croatian flag and jackets are. I mean,
Nice.
so easy to tell.
Very cool.
Okay,
Yep, the red
Croatian.
checkerboard.
It's so great.
It's a nice looking outfit. There's the Croatian athlete, Jusic. Only made one successful snatch, but is coming out for 181 in the clean and jerk.
And he's done, the Croatian has done as much as 195.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right now, Saudi Arabia's Alham Khan. Second attempt, 178. He's still got just over 50 seconds. Last time he really ran it down to, what, about 5 seconds or so?
5 seconds before he even had his hands near the bar.
And then, did the dive bomb start. Wasn't successful. It's a risky maneuver, I guess, if you do it consistently, but it's rare. I think it was more common decades past.
Yeah, just like 10 kilo jumps.
Yeah, you don't see those a whole lot.
So again, he's got it down to about 20 seconds now. Still
waiting.
Taking his time. Maybe he's a guy who just likes a little extra pressure.
Oh.
It looked better, and he actually took just a second or two extra there after he got his hands on the bar.
Yeah.
And it came in nicely, and he almost didn't look like he even tried to stand up with it. So something must be feeling not quite right.
The clock resumes for him. He gets another 2-minute clock because he's following himself. Not sure what the problem is there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this also is going to be throwing off a number of other athletes. Once you get someone missing like this, you're counting in the back based on made attempts, knowing that things can happen. But 2 in a row like this, and then now it's on a third attempt, another 2-minute clock, can really throw off athletes' rhythms in the back room.
Yeah. See, at this point, I would be ready to bump it up to 179.
Yeah. Buy yourself a little more time.
Yeah.
Talk to the athlete. Call in a sports psychologist, maybe, see what you can do, because that one didn't look bad. First one is rushed.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just the weight gets in the head.
Maybe a little, maybe get hypnotized very briefly to think that you're Liu Xiaojun. Something.
So we're taking a look at the scoreboard right now. This is what the coaches use to, this plus the Marshall table, to use to determine where athletes stand. You can see the snatch portion is all filled in. The clean and jerk portion, all of it, nearly all of it remains.
And there's usually a nice huddle of coaches and sometimes even athletes staring at that board, waiting to see changes being made and where the weight lies.
Alham Khan, third attempt, needs this to stay in the competition.
Makes the adjustment for the jerk. Wow, the jerk was great.
Yeah. So I guess, just the clean is where he struggles, because that jerk looked great, looked easy.
Yeah, and he could be a guy in the clean where if he doesn't time it right, if he doesn't get that bounce, there's no shot. So maybe that explains why he didn't even try to stand up with the second attempt.
Look at this. He's a little bit off. He stands up, takes a couple steps, but then.
Yeah, the jerk was
no problem.
Very easy. So Thailand's Tao Nok coming out for his second attempt, a 9-kilo jump from that opener at 170, which the 170 looked good, but I don't know if it looked 9 kilos second attempt jump.
That's ambitious. That's ambitious. At international level, he's only done, if these records are correct, 170.
Wow.
He's taken 175.
You know, he bombed out the snatch, so maybe it's just, let's just go for broke here.
Yeah.
Cleans it.
No, the jerk wasn't there. No, I think if he has a little better clean, he has a shot at it, but he has been sitting for a little while.
Yeah. Well, you heard him kind of breathe out, really laborsome when he was doing it at the top here.
It's a lot of weight.
And then you think to yourself, okay, now I got to put this over my head. Uh-oh.
We've all been there.
We've all been there.
It's terrible.
Absolutely. So, of course, he's the only lifter asking for 179, so he's following himself. He would have to jump to 180, which, again, maybe that's worthwhile.
Yeah, you know, in the clean and jerk, that extra time, especially at these weights, 1 kilo doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, it's basically half a percentage, so it's very, very little. I mean, if you're talking about world record weights, that little bit of a weight makes a difference. But, but when you're talking about weights that these guys are really capable of, I mean, it's really the same thing.
Yeah. It's interesting that it used to be you could break a world record by half a kilo. And now that is no longer the minimum jump. It used to be 1 kilo records and regular lifts.
I think a lot of the rule advancements that have been made, especially in the last 10 years, are really great changes. The fact that we're dealing with all whole numbers now. There's no half kilo or 2.5 kilo jumps.
They got rid of the body weight rule.
Yeah.
That's a really great change.
The direction of the sport in terms of the rules, I think is just getting better and better.
Right now, Thailand's Banya Taonok coming out, third and final attempt. 179 kilos.
Just needs to time that clean a little bit better. Oh boy. Well, a good attempt.
Yeah.
1 out of 6 for the day, so he's going to go back to Thailand not feeling so great, unfortunately.
Yeah, but gets that 1 on the board at least, and still a relatively young lifter. No reason we can't see more of him.
Yeah. So Ferreira da Silva is coming out for the 10 kilo jump from 170 all the way up to 1.
And he's been waiting for a while. I wonder if he did anything to keep warm or if he was just, you know, it's a gamble because you don't know that those were going to be missed lifts.
He looked like he was well plastered to that seat.
He was sitting
5 or 6 minutes.
He was sitting, so maybe he snuck in a couple air squats or a burpee or two somewhere.
Maybe a curl here or there.
Let's see. 10 kilo jump, very impressive. Ferreira has done as much as 180 in international competition. It looks, but not more. But he has done this 10 kilo jump in the past.
A heavy clean, but successful. Oh, very close.
Not bad. You know, he's got that very short dip, which I like. And a quick explosion upward. I think he can come back and make this.
I think he can too. Although, okay, no, I think he's just trying to undo his knee wraps. Yeah, the Colombians, the Brazilians, they love really putting those thick wraps around their knees when they go out for both lifts, the snatch and the clean and jerk. We've seen a lot of that over the last few days.
Croatia's Amar Music, 2016 Olympian. You can see there on the screen at the Olympic Games in Rio. He did 150 and 186 for a 336 total. Good for 15th place. His best lifts are 53 and 95. Did the 95 back in 2010 in Antalya at the World Championships.
Yeah, and you just saw him sort of pacing back and forth. He's getting, he's trying to stay warm because he's got to be ready at any given moment. And of course, he has some misses, some changes in weight. So now the question is, do the coaches have him take a light weight, or does he just continue the pacing to kind of stay warm? So that's a frustrating place to be in.
And the clean and jerk, it's tough because if you take something light, you could throw yourself off unless you're used to that.
Yeah.
Once you touch the actual weight. So we're talking with Cheryl Hayworth earlier today. multiple Olympian, Olympic medalist as well from the U.S., and she said she liked a heavy pull often.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes a lighter weight. Right now, Brazil's Ferreira coming out, third attempt, 180 kilos.
Bad. So the 10-kilo jump did not work as well as it did for the Russians back in the day.
No, that's a big jump, and he ends up with a 315 total, 145, 170, 2 for 6 on the day. Gets a total, but probably not the one he was hoping for.
So finally, the Croatian Muzik coming out for his opening attempt at 181.
Nice and chalked up.
Yeah, and you'll see in the clean and jerk, a lot of these athletes will put a little chalk on their, actually right on their collarbones and shoulders to make sure the weight stays in place. Beautiful technique.
I like that upright catch.
Yeah, pretty good lift.
Yeah.
Something must be going on in that left elbow, because he's just, every time he gets done with the lift, he always just kind of moves it around a little bit. So it could be a little sore or something like that.
Here's the clean, very upright in the clean, which is nice to see. And then moves the hands out. Solid jerk. Looks over. I like the little look a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if he was looking at his elbow or if he was doing a Dimas sort of left and right look there, but a successful lift nonetheless.
So right now, the lifter, Colombia's Betancourt, although, yep, here he is. He is coming out.
But he's
taking a seat.
He's got to be a foot taller than every other competitor.
Yeah,
this
very tall athlete. As you mentioned earlier, it looks more like a 95, 94, or a 105.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where he'll end up eventually.
And a pretty young guy. He's only 23 years old, so he's got some time to grow into that body of his.
In the snatch, he was collar to collar, which is pretty rare for an 85-kilo lifter. Although Rybaker, the world record holder, was also nearly collar to collar.
Yeah, junior and senior snatch world record holder. 187, that's going to be there for a long time. Yeah.
Like all the Colombians, rest the bar on the chest, and then casually moves it, the hands out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, when it comes to a physical standpoint, you're just not moving the bar as far if your arms are wider. So, or excuse me, your hands are wider. So it's a little less work, and especially if you can have the bar just rest completely on your shoulders.
The Colombian
like
flexibility.
He does. Yeah.
It's interesting because it really is kind of a national style for them. So many of their athletes do that move and jerk very wide. And there are some trends we see in national styles. The jerks with a slow pull, sometimes off the floor. Right now, Croatia's Amar Muzic coming out. Second attempt, 185 kilos. Did a very nice clean last time. Jerk looked pretty good too. Looks like he's going a little more conservative than he has done in the past in some of his best.
Yeah, 195 is his best. And that was done in Antalya back in 2010 at the World Championships.
Exactly. More recently, it's his weights have been down on that. 175, 182, 170, things like that.
No. He took a little extra time kind of feeling where the knurling was to get his hands sort of in position. And when you start messing around with that stuff, I think that really gets in your head.
So he'll have one more attempt. Only made one attempt in the snatch. Right now he's 1 for 2 in the clean and jerk. So yeah, just not quite there.
Yeah, and he's one of 2 athletes in this weight category in this session that were born in 1987. So he's quite a seasoned lifter. 30 years of age.
Yeah, he's got a pretty deep competition history. International competitions go all the way back to 2005.
Yeah.
European Championships in Sofia, Bulgaria.
Yeah, and when we're looking at how old a competitor is, we also have to consider how many training years and competing years that lifter has done. So he may only be 30, but he's been lifting for a long, long time, and a lot of international meets for him.
Yeah, pretty consistently since 2005, he's been doing competitions.
Right now, Votar, the Frenchman, 186 kilos on the bar for his opening attempt. 2 for 3 in the snatch, finished with 145. Very nice clean.
Let's see, his best internationally seems to be 190. I wonder, one judge didn't like it, but 2 to 1.
Otherwise look good.
No, wait, they're stopping.
Okay, so yeah, so it looks like the jury's...
jury is stopping. Now let's take a look at this replay. So clean looks pretty good. He stands up very easily, but I think he's a little soft on the elbows.
Just a little bit.
I know, and actually...
It was both elbows, too. I think it was both the right and the left at the same time. Just a little bit of a bend there. So the jury's discussing it, trying to figure out if they're going to overturn that or not. And they're making some elbow movements.
I think they're going to take it away. Here's that replay again.
Right there. Watch that right elbow, especially from that angle.
Yeah, the right's a little worse, but I think you're right in that both of them, unfortunately.
Yeah, right. There's the catch.
Oh, and
there's the bend.
Yeah, I mean, so here, what's interesting is with the technology, you can get really fine-grained and see if that bend is taking place. Because sometimes that happens fast enough where it doesn't get called.
Yeah.
If they introduce the video replay, which they've talked about, it could change the sport. Either they have to rewrite the rules, or it could really change the sport.
Yeah, in real time, a typical jerk looks like there's no press out at all, but then you get in these super slow-mo 4K videos and you're saying, wow, it wasn't quite as smooth as it seemed in real time. So you don't want to start getting to the point where every lift gets turned down. I mean, that's just not good for the sport.
Yeah. So that lift was in fact turned back. It is no lift. Botard is going to have to come out and make that. Now, I do think he can make this. He's strong enough. He's got to come back, and I think he can make it cleanly enough that the jury and judges will be happy.
Yeah. Another good clean.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, no question there.
So yeah, there you go. You see that he could get it right overhead to lockout, no problem. 3 white lights, and everyone is happy. He's probably not thrilled.
He's not. That face was not the face of a happy person.
Yeah, but you know, you'll watch this replay and you can see it's quite different. There was no doubt there.
Yeah.
Gets on the board with 186. He's got 145 in the snatch, 331 total right now, which beats what we've seen out of the C group.
And right now we have the only junior competitor in the field coming out for his opening attempt, 187 for Regala.
So he only made 1 snatch, although he increased on his second and then third. He went 150, which he made, then 154 and missed it, 157 and missed it.
And I believe he was originally listed at 190, so he brought it down a little bit. Strong clean.
Yeah, stood up very easily.
think he got the down signal.
I don't know. The judge is 2-1 against.
Oh, no. So he's not really understanding what happened there. So let's take a look at that replay here. Clean was very strong.
Yeah.
Elbows are nice and high. And keep a close eye on the elbows here. See if there's any... I don't know. That looked like it was in the shoulders more than the elbows. Maybe just a little bit.
Tough. I wonder if he put the bar down prematurely.
That could be it.
Because you have to wait for the down signal.
Yeah.
You can do a great lift, and if you put it down before you hear that buzzer or the center ref says down.
Yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, that's. You're probably right. I think that's exactly what happened, Dr. Boffa. So he just sort of wasted an attempt there.
We'll see. It looks like they're gonna go back and maybe they put a change in, I think. So they're gonna count it as a make maybe and just move up, take something else.
You know, sometimes when you're warming up in the back and you're probably doing the lift just like that, as soon as it gets to that locked out position, you put it right down.
Yeah.
And then you transition to the competition platform and you forget that there's some rules in place that you got to abide by before you do that.
Yeah, so he is going up. He's going to 191. In the meantime, we've got Croatia's Amar Music coming out for his third attempt. He moved up as well, so he didn't make the jerk on his 185. Decided, let's go 187. And again, you talk about the different body types. Here is someone who looks to be a foot shorter than our Colombian lifter and a foot wider. Doing similar weights.
Attempting similar weights. Yeah, attempting similar weights. But there's more than one way to skin a cat, as we've seen with all these different body weights.
So he ends up with a 326 total, 145 in the snatch, 181 in the clean and jerk for Amar Music. That is a bit down on his best. He's done as much as 346 in the total back in 2010.
So this brings up the Slovakian Karol Samko coming out for his opening attempt. Originally listed at 190, brought it down to 188. I think that's probably a good move. Just get one in.
Yeah.
It's not about where you start, it's about where you finish. And he had a 3-for-3 day in the snatch. And the clean and jerk is more of his specialty here.
Yeah.
So this is really his moment to shine now.
He attempted 199 at the European Championships earlier this year in Split. Wow. Don't know that we're going to get to that mark today. We'll see.
Nice clean. Just a little bit there in the elbow. Okay, not enough. So
2-1, he gets it.
He gets it for now.
Yeah. Well, the jury doesn't seem to be doing much, so I think it's going to stand.
It was very slight, and I guess I'm being a little nitpicky here because I know how that the jury is also. But yeah, he held it. He held it pretty steady there. It didn't look like the weight started to decline at all.
Yeah, so he's all right. He's still listed as the athlete, but that's going to change, of course. And I think it's going to be the Frenchman Votard.
So there's a total of 4 athletes remaining, and it looks like 7 lifts remain. So 190 is going to be on the bar, and that's going to bring up, just like you said, the Frenchman for his third and final attempt. And really sort of got robbed of that first attempt at 186, but took it home on his second. So 190, that is not going to be the weight. 191 for Benson Kerr on his second attempt. He opened with 185, so it's a 6-kilo bump from that opening attempt. And Benson Kerr, in competition, according to our records here, has done only 171. So this is 20 kilos.
Yeah, and admittedly, some of our records
they're questionable.
are incomplete. we have to work with what's available online, of course.
He hardly fits in the screen. He's so tall. Yeah, fairly wide grip in here in the clean and jerk too. Successful on the clean. Oh, close. Very close. So there's 2 other competitors asking for the same weight.
Yeah.
Regala of India, who moved up after prematurely dropping the weight on his opening attempt to 187, should be the next lifter, and it looks like he's getting ready. So Regala's going to come out and attempt this weight at 191 kilos. And again, this is 10 kilos up from his best, according to our records. So yeah, training must have been going fairly well for him.
Yeah. India had some success earlier in these championships. The women's 48 category.
Makes the clean.
Yeah. Oh.
He's holding it. Feet are in line. Puts the weight down.
Well, that left elbow was a little soft, but the
3 white lights.
3 white lights, and I think it might stand.
Yeah, yeah. You know what he did too? He celebrated the lift, and I think that sells it a little bit to those referees out there. Does a little fancy footwork.
Yep.
Gets it done, and then the fist pump right there. That's what sealed the deal.
Right now, Francis Votar coming out. 191, same weight. Good clean.
Nice clean.
It's a pretty good jerk, too. You know, maybe not quite as sharp as the 186, but I think that's pretty good. I think it's going to stand, and so he ends up a decent day for him. He's got 4 for 6, 2 snatches, 2 clean and jerks.
We're getting word from some of our people in the back that Regala, the Indian lifter, may pass, or is going to pass on his 3rd attempt.
Yeah, he's passing. I mean, it looks like a
it was
limit
a max. Yeah, yeah, and he's currently in 1st place in the clean and jerk and in the total. So
exactly,
it's not a bad place to be. So 3 lifts remain, 2 lifters. Carol Samko, who is sort of the clean and jerk specialist of the crew here, so far is 4 for 4 on the day. 192 will get him into 1st place in the clean and jerk, but you know, I don't. Let's see. Yeah, no, that's not going to get him into 1st place into the total. So, but fortunately, he does have a 3rd attempt, so he's just taking 1 at a time here.
For Votar, I believe that is a PR international competition jerk and total. 10 seconds for Samko.
Very nice clean. Needs to hold. Again, being a little nitpicky, but that left elbow just had a little bit. And there
Judges say good lift 2 to 1.
So we'll take a look at that replay. Clean was really nice.
Yeah.
Though. It came in nice. Stands up with it pretty easily. And right. Just a tiny bit. See, again, that's just so slight.
Yeah. Again, if they do introduce the replay, I think they'll have to reevaluate the rules.
Yeah.
Right now, Colombia's Betancourt coming out, 192 kilos. Only made 1 snatch. Made 185 on his opening clean and jerk, then missed 91, and elected to move up 1 kilo. Clean and jerk portion has been a bit rough on make-miss. Percentage of made lifts is only about 34%.
Yeah, this whole session's been a little rough, including the snatch. Widens the grip. Needs to hold, needs to recover the feet.
Nope. 32%. All right. So
and dropping.
32% and falling. The barometer of this session's makes is plummeting.
Well, there was only 11 makes in the snatch, and there's only 11 competitors, so that's 33% right there in the snatch, and less than that in the clean and jerk. So this is nothing short of a bloodbath.
It's rough sometimes. You know, weightlifting is an individual sport, but you are lifting in a group, and sometimes the misses pile up.
Yeah.
And it can throw competitors off. It can throw your warm-up, your timing off. It can be something in the air.
Yeah. And Samko is the only person who's giving any respect to the make rate.
If it weren't for Samko, the miss percentage would be in single
10%,
digits, I think. Yeah.
So he's 5 for 5 thus far. He's asking for 194 currently, but I have a feeling that 195 is going to be moved. Yep, and there it is. There's 195. Yeah. They're making that change. So he's currently in first place in the clean and jerk, second place in the total, and fourth place in the snatch.
Yeah. Oh, 196. So this would equal his international best, I believe. It looks like he did that back in earlier this year in Croatia, the European Championships.
And at that same competition, he snatched 146, or excuse me, 147, which is one more kilo than
he snatched 150 there.
Oh, he did. Yes, you're right. So, so a little down from that competition, but still making his lifts, which is something to be said in this session. So the outlier of the class, going 5 for 5 thus far, and wants to make it a perfect day with this 196 kilo clean and jerk. Oh, very close. Yeah.
Too much, but pretty good. 5 for 6 day, 338 total.
So let's take a look at the clean and jerk results first. As we mentioned, Samko as in the #1 spot with 192, Regala 191 in second, and Vatar, the Frenchman, at 191 also in third place.
Total results right now: India's Regala 341, Slovakia's Samko 338, and France's Votard 336. A kilo behind is Colombia's Betancourt, and then Alex Bellemont